What if I told you there's a clear, 7-step formula, like a repeatable recipe, for turning any ambition you have into reality? Well, today, we're going to break that down, removing past just wishing for success and getting into the real, practical steps to actually make it happen.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We all have dreams, but there's this giant gap between just wanting something and, actually doing the work to build it into our lives. So let's dive into that gap.
That gap is exactly what we're calling the success paradox. It's the difference between being a passive wisher, just kind of hoping things will happen, and becoming an active writer of your own story. I love that phrasing.
Okay, so what separates these two groups, the wishers from the writers? What's the secret sauce? It's a huge question, right? But here's the thing. The answer isn't some big mystical secret. It's a process.
Yep, it's not magic, it's not luck. It all comes down to a simple but super powerful 7-step formula, a clear, repeatable process that honestly anyone can follow to get from wishing to doing. So let's break it down step by step.
All right, first things first, we've got to define your goal. This is the foundation of everything. Think about it. You can't build a house without a solid blueprint, right? Same idea here. This is where we get crystal clear on what you actually want.
So these first 3 steps are all about building that foundation. Step 1, be exact. Step 2, define your price. And step 3, fix a date. See how that works? Being exact gives you a destination. Defining the price makes you realize what it'll take. And fixing a date, well, that lights a fire under you. Together, these things turn a fuzzy dream into a real, solid target.
And this is so true. Clarity attracts results. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Vague goals get you, well, vague results. If you don't know exactly where you're going, you'll just wander around and probably end up nowhere. But clarity, it's like a magnet. It literally pulls the results toward you.
Here's a perfect example. A wish is saying, I want a lot of money. It's nice, but it's totally fuzzy. A goal, on the other hand, is I will earn 10 lakh rupees. See the difference? That's specific. It's measurable. It gives your brain a real problem to chew on and start solving.
Okay, on to step 2. And this one is a big reality check. It asks the critical question, what will you give in return? Because, let's be real, success is never free. There's always a price. The trick is to decide, up front, what you're willing to pay for that goal. And what is that price? Well, it usually comes down to 3 things: your effort, your skills, and your time. It's the hard work you're ready to put in, the new things you'll have to learn, and, this is the big one, your most precious resource, your time.
You've probably heard this one before, but it's so important. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. I mean, without a date circled on the calendar, there's just no urgency, is there? That someday can stretch on forever. A deadline is what turns a wish into a real commitment. It forces you to get moving.
Okay, so your foundation is set. You've got a specific goal, you know the price, and you have a deadline. So what's next? Now it's time to actually build your plan. This is where we turn that intention into action.
And that brings us to steps 4 and 5. Step 4, create a plan. Step 5, write it down clearly. These 2 are all about action. This is how your intention stops being just an idea in your head and becomes an actual roadmap you can follow.
And the philosophy here is so important. Action beats perfection. Don't get stuck waiting for the perfect plan to magically appear. It doesn't exist. The goal is just to start, even if you don't feel totally ready. Trust me, momentum is way more powerful than perfection.
And then, step 5, this is where the magic really happens. The simple act of writing it all down, the goal, the deadline, the plan, it's a massive psychological trigger. It literally takes an idea out of your head and puts it into the real world. It becomes a contract you sign with yourself.
All right, we're on to the final part of the process. And honestly, this might be the most important part of all. You can have the what, the why, and the how all figured out, but none of it works without the right mindset. This last section is all about reinforcement and belief. So let's look at the last 2 steps. Step 6 is to read it twice daily, and step 7 is to believe it's already yours. Think of these 2 steps as the engine that powers this entire thing. One is about daily programming, and the other is about building just unshakable faith.
So, when we talk about reading your statement morning and night, we're not just talking about skimming some words. No, this is about total immersion. You read it, you feel it, you visualize it, you're literally conditioning your subconscious mind to accept this new reality. You have to get emotional about it, feel what it's like to have already achieved it.
And that brings us to the final step, and this quote says it all. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Think about that for a second. We're all afraid of failing, but it's doubt that's the real silent killer. It just eats away at your commitment from the inside out. So step 7 is all about making a conscious choice every single day to choose belief over doubt.
So there you have it, the 7 steps. We've gone from defining your goal to building your plan, all the way to living the mindset. Now let's wrap this up and bring it all together into one final commitment.
Look, I get it. 7 steps can feel like a lot. So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, just remember this. It all boils down to 2 core actions. Write your goal down once and read it every single day. That's it. That's the core of the whole thing. Do those 2 things and you're already way ahead of the game. So, in the end, it all comes down to this one simple question. Are you ready to write your reality? It's time to stop wishing and start deciding. Are you ready to pick up that pen and become the author of your own success story? The formula is right here. The choice is yours.